A major snowstorm looks to be brewing for Texas and on out east. What are the odds this actually happens? Let's get into it. Now, I'll tell you this. Typically, I would look at this type of southern snowstorm and say, do not believe your eyes. Although I'm starting to have some confidence in this, and I want to tell you guys why. First off, if there's one thing the GFS does well, it's tropical and subtropical moisture. The GFS has consistently seen this low forming down here in the Gulf as we push through the middle of next week. It's getting to the point where I would be surprised if we didn't have some sort of moisture down there in this region as we push through that time frame. Again, this is what the GFS is better at. And you know what the Euro's pretty good at? Temperature and snow projections in winter. At least when compared to other global models. And a projection of this cold air that's very near the surface around this time frame, which is just in 100 hours, isn't that far-fetched. Taking both of these model strengths and seeing what they're putting in front of us, weirdly enough, I'd say I do expect some snow down in the south in this time frame. Now, it is of course way too early to look at the future radar and say, hey, this is what our radar is going to look like, everyone watch out. We do need to wait a little bit longer with the system and get it into forecasting range before we can really talk about totals or what the actual tracking of this potential winter storm will be. But again, the confidence is growing down here. The one model that didn't like snowfall down here has been the Euro, and suddenly it's on track with the rest of the models. This doesn't mean it's going to happen, but model consensus is important. You have the GFS here, snowfall beginning to show up on the Euro now. You have your Canadian, which even wants to bring snowfall into the panhandle of Florida. Is it possible with this type of setup? Yes, but I wouldn't get your hopes up just yet. Like I said, we need some more time on that. The Icon and the CFS. This agreement is important. And again, like I said in the beginning of the video, the GFS doing what it does best and the Euro doing what it does best. If I'm down in the south, I'm taking this seriously. Now, do I expect to see totals like this, a foot or more into Texas? No. Could it happen? I guess maybe. And even if the storm is more bullish than expected, remember, someone down here is still going to miss out. We have models like the Canadian that want to keep the snow very far south and the GFS that wants to keep it farther north. The last thing I did want to point out about the system is this potential setup for a very vertical trough that we could be looking at. A trough like this that is straight up and down, this is what brings the coldest air from up in Canada and up near the Arctic all the way down into the lower 48. Now, I'll tell you right now, I'd be surprised if we saw this deep of a trough, but I do expect something like this. And that is why we expect very cold surface temperatures down here as we move through the middle of next week. And that is why we are watching this. I'm going to continue to keep my eye on this. I will continue to update you. I appreciate you watching this video. If you like this type of content, feel free to throw me a follow. I post every day. I stream every night. I'll see you in the next video.